Hey, Sanity Stitchers, how are you doing? I'm doing well. I thought I would kind of show off my hoop that is falling out of my hand. I finished this, a few days back, and I just wanted to show it off again because it was a big project. This is a 12-inch hoop, There's a lot going on there. I finished the edge around the fabric collage there with 2 rounds of bullion knots, and then I did seed stitch with a couple of sizes of beads and shapes, but they're all orange. And I also found some key charms in my stuff, so I decided, hey, I'll put that on there too. So I also found some old chips of carnelian that I thought would make some really cool fantasy soil of some kind. And there's also some bicones and stuff in there too for a bit of sparkle. If only the ground was sparkly like that, huh? That's what I think. Um, it was nice to finish this piece. It's been in the works for probably about a year, so it's nice to have it done. I'm on to my next piece. It's going to be, in the same family as what you just saw. It's a fabric collage that I made, and then I applicate it to some really fun cotton that I had. And the car this time, I prepared it. It is a 1967 Pontiac Firebird. And so I've prepped my surface with paint and it's ready to be stitched when I'm ready to stitch it. And I look forward to it. I think it'll be a fun one to do. So while I'm doing that, I'm often thinking about other stuff because it's what I can do with my hands that allows my thoughts to just relax a bit. Um, when I'm trying to write, for example, I find I have a terrible time when I'm sitting down to write. There's too much pressure. For I think I can share a little bit of an essay with you. I think I will. I'm gonna get it. So before I dive in and read anything, I feel compelled to say it's in this book. It's a collection of essays written by women who dealt with postpartum depression and other things, and complicated pregnancies and things like that. And I won't read the whole thing, but I can read you a relevant section that I think pertains to this embroidery stuff. I started quilt making like a lot of women do during pregnancy. I was in the early weeks of knowing I was pregnant and got lost in the clouds about the amazing prospects to come. I knew many women waited until the second trimester before announcing a pregnancy, but I couldn't wait. I wanted to decorate our home and swaddle our baby in homemade quilts. I stumbled upon a book, Better Homes and Gardens 2-color quilts. The designs were all 19th and early 20th century styles in the classic color combinations of that era. The projects were difficult, including blocks like the Dresden Plate and New York Beauty. The jargon in the book was not at all for a beginner, but, as with my ignorance of motherhood, I wasn't put off by that. I'd managed to quit taking all my anxiety and depression medications in preparation for my pregnancy. This in itself was an accomplishment. I had been taking psychiatric medications ever since I was 15 years old. I was 27 when I became pregnant. I found out while my husband was away at the army base in Saint Jean, Quebec. I called him right after my test. The night he came back to Victoria a month or so later, he had the best smile and gave me the biggest hug and kiss. "This is just so amazing," he kept saying. We walked down Government Street, eating gelato and waffle cones, holding hands. The prior 5 years had been filled with 2 undergraduate degrees and getting married. A baby was the cherry on top. So many women in my family didn't get their education because they got pregnant first. I was so sure that having these ducks in a row and in that particular order meant everything was going to line up like perfect quilt piecing. I'd neglected to consider that perfect piecing does not happen prior to plenty of imperfect piecing. I was blessed with an uneventful pregnancy. I didn't have morning sickness or sensitivity to smells. I could eat anything I wanted without serious consequence, which made my mother seethingly jealous. By the end of my coursework, the doctor decided I needed to recuperate. She had me on bed rest for the final 6 weeks. I knew the baby was overdue, but I could tell it wasn't going to be much longer. Nonetheless, I was put on the list for induction. I didn't want to go through that, but the law is the law. And yes, there is a law about how late a baby can be, according to doctors at Victoria General. So, that's just a part of the essay I wrote in this book. It is called Beyond Blue. It's on Goodreads if you're interested and you want to find out more about the book. It has just had its launch I think it was in Vancouver, just on the weekend, and I couldn't be there, even though I'm relatively close. I just could not get away. So if you're into it, you can definitely order it online, or you can go to independent bookstores and order from them too. But like learning to quilt the way I did, and sort of when I got back into working with textiles again, was during that time that a lot of women kind of do that. It's that nesting thing, I feel. And it kind of is a way to connect back to what women would have done a long, long time ago. And it's nice that I'm lucky enough to have a lot of artifacts that are from them too. Just right here behind me, I have, it's like a shawl, it's like a cape that my grandmother made. The stitching is fine enough that I can tell it would have been probably the mid 60s, early to mid 60s, I'd say, judging by the colors too. She made this for herself to wear on her shoulders because she used to sit and crochet and knit. Those were kind of her things that she liked to do with textiles. She used to do that, or she would do mending. She really was a good mender. It was one of her traditions, as an aside, was every time that we were going to go visit her, or she was going to, and my grandfather were going to come visit us, we had to make sure to save all of our broken clothes because she would ask for them so that she would have something to do while we were visiting. She would fix all of our broken stuff. Anyway, she made this for herself so that, because her chair where she did all her work was by a window, much like mine, and it was drafty. So she used to wear this when it was cold outside. She would have made this, in the early to mid 60s, when she herself was a new mom, relatively new mom. And kind of knowing her the way I got to know her, and luckily I had her uh, until I was 42. So I was lucky that way. I know so many people don't have grandparents for very long at all, if at all. So it's nice to be able to have something she made out of humble worsted kind of yarn. It's not fancy fiber content, um, but it's something she took a long time to make. She really liked doing elaborate scallops like this when she was younger. By the time she was older, it was too difficult. She didn't have the dexterity to handle fine stuff anymore. But, anyways, I hope you're well. And I hope that this was interesting. And I do have plans. There are plans percolating and being written down about my idea for a Substack. So I'll keep you posted definitely on that. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you again. I can't read when it's on a page. It's ridiculous.